All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. How you living, buddy?
Well, Bo,
I got my pen out.
I'm doing fine.
That's a good word for it, I think. This is a bit of a doldrum.
It is.
There's a stretch here. You have excitement coming out of Thanksgiving, and you're pointing to the holiday season.
Yep.
We're not quite at the holiday season yet, and this is kind of the guy behind the guy.
I'm trying to enjoy this time because we had our first week was in L.A., and then I was sick last week. So
you were.
I haven't really gotten to get, really in the holiday spirit. Now, we've taken down a lot of great Christmas movies. Really enjoying that. That's been a lot of fun. But, yeah, this is a little bit of a tough time of year in the sense that, at least we've seen the sun a little bit lately, but a lot of gray, a lot of coldness.
Wet.
Damp, sure. Blasting my nose out with your
How'd it go? Did you do it again last night?
I did it again last night.
It was better the second time.
Second time, much better.
Because you were prepared. You knew what you were in for.
Totally.
Yeah.
I had a great flow going.
Yeah.
I don't know that it obviously is doing something.
It's helping.
It's not like all of a sudden, though, I'm without congestion.
No. It's not a miracle cure.
Well, I'd like it to be.
I know you would. I think ideally this is something you hit first sign, you nail it. You're on it.
Get all that stuff out.
Get it in right now and knock it out. That's probably its most powerful would be with that opportunity. So
I'm doing it to try to flush out at the end and just we're done with it. Like,
it's been going on long enough.
Yeah. I'd say I'm at like zest level 8.4.
8.4?
Yeah. We'll take it.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a good zest out of you. An 8.4 out of you is like a 17 for me.
Yeah.
So that's for sure a
Fair.
very good zest level out of you. I used it on NBC last night. I'm like, dude, we're going to run this on you. Let's knock this out.
Okay, hold on.
He was like in. He was ready.
He was ready.
He was ready. Couldn't wait. Like, he's fearless. He'll do anything.
Miss K was like,
no, none.
Keep that away from me.
The blonde didn't want any part of it either.
Yeah.
But he was having some congestion. He was home yesterday from school, and so I'm like, dude, he's in middle school now. Like, if you miss, it's consequence. Like, it's not like little guy. You miss, and you remember, like, you miss, who cares? You're not doing anything. You're coloring. Well, now he misses, and it ends up.
Miss a little, miss a lot.
Yeah, and it comes back on us because now the work that was done in school has to be done
at
home, and so then you got to ride him like Seabiscuit to get him to do it. So I'm like, dude, you have a cold. You don't have anything that is other than that.
Yep.
And you got to go to school with colds. You got to sort it out.
So what did he think of it?
He was a little scared.
Well, yeah, because you think you're going to drown for a second.
You do think you're going to drown. He's a little scared in the beginning, but then this morning he's like, "Can I do it again before school?" I'm like, "Yeah, we can run it back."
And he felt the second time much better.
Then he was more comfortable. Yeah, it's shocking the first time for sure. I will say it's much better than the neti pot. I mean, that thing is that's a drowning.
I've never
situation.
done that. No, no interest in that. None.
Yeah, that one's
None
a little
whatsoever.
tougher. But
this it's good. Yeah. Get it going. I'd like. And I don't know if these are scores or not scores. I don't know how to phrase it, but I would like all the injuries to stop, and I have a great fear that we are not done yet in accounting for those who will not be available for a while.
Yeah, I think that was all but – so much so – state school, private school, different educations, I get it, and vastly more intelligent. But I think when we saw the statement on Monday with 22, it was like, okay.
Well, we still have some Grant, and I think there could even be others beyond that. And we found out, obviously, last night after the show went off the air that Maurice Hurst and Dwan Jones would be on IR.
Dwan we knew about.
Maurice Hurst we did not
That's another
know
new
about.
one.
That was a new one. So it's crazy.
How can you trying to think how to phrase it. How do you make sense of this?
I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Because I think it's something. Even the top levels of the organization, you would. Somebody's got to be asked the question. Okay, like, are we doing something wrong?
Yes.
That's leading to all of this. My guess is no.
No is probably
it's all
the
just
answer.
Pure dumb luck, and
is what it is.
Is what it is, and it sucks. But it's just it doesn't make sense.
If you were to do, if you were to do the Greenbrier. Top two at every position from the Greenbrier.
He's got a finger up. That's never a good sign.
Here we go. The Browns have placed Grant Delpit on injured reserve.
That ends his season.
Regular season.
Regular season. Club has also signed Deron Harmon to the active roster. In addition, the team has signed tackle Joey Fisher to the practice squad.
The next level is next.
Is that it?
I'll see you tomorrow.
That's it so far.
I don't think we're done.
I don't
He's going
think
to talk
so.
at 40.
Yeah, and I don't think we're done, unfortunately.
Now would be a fine time to start drinking.
Gibbe, listen, we're safe. We've made it through. We have been forged in the flames, Gibbe. The Chief.
And maybe a little alcohol
We're making
consumption.
it through a lot of adversity.
You don't say.
So it's a little more. Look at her.
There's so much joy around here, too, and it's the holiday season. You're excited. It's a lot, man.
No, it's a lot.
And you're at this point, you're talking, you're going to play the rest of this season with your 4th and 5th tackles.
That's right.
You're going to play, I don't know what's going on with Thornhill, so I
You're
guess you
gonna
wait
have,
on him. But you're
at best case, one of your top 3 safeties, best case.
at very best case.
That's
And
right.
at worst case, your 4th and 5th safeties because you're already down 3.
Yep.
If Thornhill misses this week, you'll be down 3 there. You're playing with your 4th quarterback. Like Kareem's here. He's been here for a while, obviously, but like none of this is in the brochure.
The only position,
It's just ridiculous.
there have only been, on offense, really the only positions. So wide receiver, you have been relatively healthy, right? Your top 3 tight ends have been your top 3 tight ends all year. You've been good there. And then your, guard, center, guard area has been pretty steady. Quarterbacks, your top 2 from the Greenbrier are gone. Top running back is gone. You're down, as you mentioned already, 3 tackles. So that's where you are offensively. Defensively, now we're down one of our top 4 tackles. We're down one of. Well, we'll see what happens there, but I think our defensive end room is not necessarily where it's going to need to be or where it started. Your linebacking core has been one that actually has been pretty steady for you. Denzel's missed a handful of games now, and you're without 2 of your top 3 safeties. And Greg's missed time at times, and Cam Mitchell's missed time. I mean, it has been an insane year. Not to mention the fact that we've never even gotten to see the guy that was brought in here to revolutionize our return game in 2 seasons. We've never even gotten to see Jakeem Grant.
No. We are going to go.
Scarlett, look at it. Wow.
He's got a lot of juice in him.
Wow.
A lot of pep in his step.
What a saunter.
That's a hell of a saunter. He's going to go grab a little sweet tea lemonade.
Yeah, he is.
Maybe a little pecan pie. Post round maybe for him. That's kind of what that saunter looks like. Like he's a man with some.
He might be looking for some fried green tomatoes.
Could be that too.
Yeah, feels like it at Magnolia.
Solid choice.
Great choice.
Very solid choice. Very good brunch. Very good brunch. No, it's unbelievable. So if you think about this, have we played in Stefanski's 4 seasons here? In any of the 4, and I understand this is nuanced, and I'm not expecting a black or white answer. Have we played one, like half of a season with the roster that was intended?
A half of this season?
A half of a season. He's been here 4 years. 20 was probably the closest.
Yeah, but Odell went out week 7.
And then 21, you lose Odell with the trade.
And Baker was banged.
Then you got, and then the last 2 at Deshaun at the minimum, and then everything this year. So I don't know if we've ever even had like, hey, here's our guys, here's our main dudes. We were having that conversation on Monday about like, if you were going to do like a poster of here are the 2023 Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Like if there's 5 guys on it, 3 of them are gone for the year. In terms of
at least 2 are gone for the year.
2 are gone
One's
for the
been
year.
gone,
And one's been gone a lot. So
and the other 2 were most recently battling a shoulder, concussions, ribs.
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
none of them unscathed.
No.
So I think you could probably say that if you were to do that exercise at the start of any of Stefanski's 4 seasons, the people on the poster would not have finished on the poster.
That's fair, but for the most part in that, you would have still had at least Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward were at least
You would have had the majority.
Start to finish on the poster.
Denzel's missed games every year, though. Nick's missed games, too.
For sure.
Like just like a all-in best players play for 16.
No.
Or now 17. We haven't had it.
Haven't had it. Which is
I don't even know what that looks like.
I'm sure it looks great.
Yeah.
Did you see of all the teams in the NFL with 8 or more wins, we're the only one that started multiple quarterbacks? And we've started 4.
I think I saw another stat that had to do with the amount of wins over teams with winning records.
Yeah, we're 6-3.
Yeah,
something like that.
Like we have the most wins against teams with winning records,
and the second best winning percentage.
Yeah, I don't know. It's we tease Tomlin with his sorcery. We've got our own going on right here, buddy.
We do have some sorcery going on. I mean, we've won games with P.J. Walker, won games with DTR. We won 2 games, really 3, with P.J. Walker and DTR. Basically 3-3, because if you throw Indy, Deshaun started, but that was basically a P.J. Walker game. 3-3 with those 2 who threw a combined 2 touchdowns and 9 picks. I mean, and we went 3-3, beating Colts team that's battling for a playoff spot, being a Niners team that is the best team in the National Football League right now, and then beating the Steelers, who are a playoff team as of right now.
Yeah, all the while, in most instances, being negative in the turnover margin.
Basically every week.
Yeah.
It's like a given.
Yeah, it's wild. Man, I was hopeful that – I wasn't optimistic, but I was hopeful that Delpit wouldn't be a done for the season situation. I was hopeful that wouldn't be the case. So that's tough. He's finally having a breakout year and, got his contract, which is something we'd wanted for a long time. And we lobbied for him in the draft years ago.
He got his contract done the night before the game.
Yeah.
And then is now out for the season.
Yeah. Theoretically could play in the postseason, but you don't know how that's going to go. Yeah. To be shut down for 4 is pretty brutal. So
Duron Harmon, though, comes into the mix now, 3-time Super Bowl champ, a veteran of 11 seasons out of Rutgers. Actually started this year with the Bears. They let him go. So he's going to be the veteran, and I'm curious if he's the one that they try to use in the role of Grant Delpit. Because
this could be what you're talking about. This is from Trotter. Oboe. Delpit is the only big loss for the Browns. Per source, Obo Okoronkwo has a pectoral injury that could end his season. He's second in the Browns in 4.5 sacks.
Yeah, that would have been the other one I was waiting on.
Hurst and Obo in a week, in 2 days.
Obo's having a heck of a season.
Sure,
4.5 sacks, second on the team in sacks, second on the team in tackles for loss. He's had a phenomenal season, and he is a guy too that. The other thing, you're losing 2 guys. If the Obo one is true, you're losing 2 guys who not only have been productive players for you, certainly in your sub packages, but also 2 juice guys. Like, they love Obo Okoronkwo in that locker room. He gives a lot of juice. They loved Maurice Hurst and all the energy that he gave this football team. And so you're losing not only productive players, in the case of Obo, incredibly productive, and one of the reasons why our, what do you call NASCAR with Miles Zadarius and Obo is so effective, that's out now. And so Alex Wright is going to have to step up, who has 1 career sack. Isaiah McGuire hasn't really played it all this year. He's going to have to step up. So this is Okoronkwo was a big one. That was a perfectly identified signing by Andrew Berry of an ascending player who was gotten for his role and his success well below market value. And now it sounds like he's gone. That's what I'm talking about. It is like dropping like flies.
What are we? Are we like 20? How many of our guys have missed significant time? If you go back to the original 2 deep at coming into the season.
Running back, quarterback, 3 tackles. And I really think
what's going on with Posick? Is he going to be? We don't know.
Don't know. I don't think that's season. I don't think we're in danger of season ending or anything like that. Defensively, it's been now Obo, Maurice Hurst.
Grant. We had Jakeem Grant. I realize that's on
Jakeem
defense.
Grant Delpit.
Good one.
Denzel's missed 4. McLeod's out for the year. Goodwin missed a handful on offense as well. But, yeah, McLeod's out for the year. Thornhill's missed a handful of games now, too. And then Kunashik was certainly in the mix early. He missed the first 6-8 weeks.
13?
13, and you're talking about your starting quarterback and Nick Chubb.
Yeah, well,
and your
three
starting tackles.
3 tackles. Like, I'm talking 13 out of a starting 22 have missed significant time.
Yeah, that's right.
So
I know he's going to cry for us, and we've got to go out there and we've got to take care of our business.
no, but there's no one in the league dealing with this, and let alone being 8-5 in it.
Not to this
Not
level.
like this. Like, you could be the Jets. Oh, we lost Rodgers week 1. Okay. Vikings have lost Jefferson and Cousins. I mean, so they've had significant guys that have missed. Burrow, obviously, in Cincinnati. But it's not like – I guess they missed Higgins early, but that's – he's there now.
Yep.
There just isn't anything like this where you're talking about
no
13 guys in your – that would have been – now, Goodwin wouldn't have been too deep or wouldn't have been a starter, but, I mean –
he felt like he was your number 4 receiver.
And he was your get deep guy.
Right.
You were going to count on him.
Well,
and that hasn't been the case.
No, that hasn't materialized.
Yeah, it's staggering. You're right. No one's going to feel for you. It's crazy because I guess it speaks to how well this team is coached, not just at the top and not just at the coordinators, but the position groups that they get these guys ready to the guys behind the guys. It's crazy.
Folks, Ronnie Hickman was getting limited reps as a dime safety for this week.
Yeah.
Thornhill goes down in the pregame and then is able to step in, and he plays every single snap in the game. He plays all 76 of them on defense, makes a huge play on the 4th down. It was his blitz, his add-on blitz, that led to Greg Newsome's interception. And he said, Coach Banda does a great job of making sure that everybody, even if they aren't getting physical reps, gets real mental reps, and it helps them be prepared. And he said that, Juan and Rodney on the sideline were so great and telling them what to expect and what to watch. And he goes, a lot of stuff they told me this play's going to come, blah, 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 would come. So you've got not only, you've got guys that are bought in, you have great coaching, and you have a great group of veterans that are lending their knowledge to the young players who are being thrust into action.
Yeah.
This is not easy.
There's no precedent, brother, for this.
No, this is
not like this. And to try to make the postseason amidst this it's incredible to be in the spot that you're in.
Yep.
And yet, you think about Chicago coming in here, and you say, "Well, I like the chances." You think you're going to have to get to 10. That's the number. Feel very confident about that. 10 wins is going to be the number. You got to win 2 of your next 4 to get into the postseason. And we'll hear from Coach here coming up at 1:40.
Yeah.
So that sets you the table of where we are. It is a battered group of Cleveland Browns. Those are your hot topics of the day, presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, we will meet the Chicago Bears, who will be in here on Sunday. We're off and running. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the preferred provider of copiers and document services for the Cleveland Browns. You can tackle any size office. That number is 216-485-2000. Visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. If you're just joining us, Coach is going to be at the podium around 1:40. We will carry that for you live. We have confirmed that Grant Delpit is on IR. His regular season is done. If there is a postseason, theoretically, he could play in that. And then Jake Trotter of ESPN, great friend of the program, has reported that Obo Okoronkwo's season could be over as well with a torn pectoral. So we'll get clarity on those two things. We had Maurice Hurst and DeJuan Jones earlier this week, and so a walking wounded are we, Gibbe. You have some news on the other side of things, though, correct?
We do. Our good friend Courtney Cronin, who will join us later this week. Within the last hour, the Bears head coach at the podium, Matt Eberflus. Yannick Ngakoue broke his ankle, headed to IR with season-ending surgery.
Ngakoue's been good for them. 4 sacks on the season, 6 tackles for loss, 34 pressures. His 4 sacks lead the team technically because Montez Sweat only has 3.5 with them. Sweat obviously has 10 on the season, but he was the big pass rusher opposite Montez Sweat. So DeMarcus Walker will probably step into that role out of Florida State, who had 7 sacks last year with Tennessee, but only has 1.5 so far this season.
All right, and with that, we meet the Bears. They are coached by head coach Matt Eberflus. Second season, he is 8-22. The Browns lead the All-Time Series 10-7. Browns are 1-3, but won the last one in their last 4. Last time out, we beat them in September of 2021, 26-6. Last time we saw the Bears, they were winning at Detroit 28-13. In terms of where they stand in the league, they were 21st in offense, 26th in pass, 4th against the rush, 20th in scoring. Defensively, they're 12th overall, though they've been significantly better since Montez Sweat has been there. 23rd total, 2nd in rush defense, 23rd in pass defense, and 23rd in scoring. They're -1 in turnover differential. They are one of the most interesting teams in the league for the decision that they will have to make once season is over. Between now and then, they play us on Sunday. Dr. Z for more.
All right, this is a team offensively. They are led by Justin Fields, and now that he's playing better, they have won 3 of their last 4. I think if I did a guess the stats with you, you'd be surprised on what Fields' numbers look like this year. 63.5% completions, 1,810 yards, 13 touchdowns, 6 picks, rating of 91.8. He has been sacked 32 times in 9 games because he has the longest time to throw in the NFL. He's also rushed for 458 yards and 2 touchdowns. He leads their team in rushing. Remember, last year ran for 1,143 yards, 8 touchdowns, led the NFL 7.1 yards per carry, which was the second most all-time in a single season for a quarterback. When he throws it, the man he throws it to is DJ Moore. And I know in those stat sheets over there's some very good DJ Moore facts. He's averaging about 100 yards a game with Justin Fields as the quarterback. This is his 4th 1,000-yard season of his career, leading them 76 catches, 1,071 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Also last week had the first rushing touchdown of his careers. He scored both via the pass and via the run in their win last week over the Detroit Lions. They also have Darnell Mooney. He's got 395 yards, 14.5 yards a catch. He was a 1,000-yard receiver back in 2021. And then they've got Cole Kmet, their big tight end from Notre Dame. He is second on the team, 61 catches, 548 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He's 64 yards away from a new career high, which would be 613 this year. He had 7 touchdowns last year, 6'6", 260, big target. And really, when they throw the ball, it's DJ Moore, number 1, Kmet, number 2. Everybody else kind of just fits in. Amazing. They've got 3 tight ends. They play all 3. Robert Tonyan, who had 11 touchdowns with the Packers back in 2020, and Mercedes Lewis, still in the league. In his 18th season. He was a first-round pick in 2006 out of
UCLA.
That's right, UCLA. Indeed. Pro Bowler back in 2010.
Jeez.
So, and when they run it, they've got a mix of running backs. They got Deontay Foreman, who ran for 914 yards and 5 touchdowns with Carolina a year ago. He's the second leading rusher on the team, 431 yards and 4 touchdowns. Khalil Herbert missed some time with injury. He was the starter early in the season. He's got 339 yards, averaging 4.5 yards carry. And then they drafted Roschon Johnson out of Texas. He's got 238 yards and a touchdown, 24 catches, 131. Their line, they've made a lot of investment in this line recently, and you see it in terms of the people that are starting. Their right tackle, Darnell White, out of Tennessee, their first-round pick. Now, he's given up a team-high 6 sacks and 39 pressures. Tevin Jenkins, their left guard, was a second-rounder back in 2021. Their left tackle, Braxton Jones, was their 5th-round pick in 2022. And then they've got some veterans, Lucas Patrick, and then Nate Davis, their 3rd-round pick in 2019. So early draft pick investment the last 2 seasons, or last 2 of the last 3 years, but they've added a draft pick each of the last 3 seasons on that offensive line. They're not particularly good throwing the football, 186 yards per game, 26, but they are the number 4 rushing offense in the league. They, like the Browns, possess the football. They're an excellent third down offense. They are 7th with 43% conversions, and in the red zone, they are 16th. So they've been pretty good in the money situations offensively. Defensively, they haven't been. This is back to a traditional 4-3 front. Now, this defense, since they got Montez Sweat, has been the number 4 defense in the NFL. He's got a sack in 3 straight games, 3.5 in 5 games since joining Chicago. So across the front, it'll be Sweat. Justin Jones, who has a career-high 3.5 sacks at defensive tackle. Andrew Billings, who spent some time with the Browns in 2021. He's the nose tackle. And then they've got DeMarcus Walker, who's got 1.5 sacks, and Rasheem Green, who has 2 sacks as kind of the other edges now with Yannick Ngakoue out. They play 2 linebackers, and they're both very good. TJ Edwards has already on the season 131 tackles, 2nd in the NFL, 2 picks, 2 fumble recoveries, a forced fumble, 2 sacks. And Tremaine Edmonds, their big offseason signing, he's got a career-high 3 interceptions this season and 84 tackles. So 2 good linebackers there. They've got Jalen Johnson at one corner, who's playing as well as anybody in the National Football League. 4 interceptions, 9 passes defensed. He's given up 47% completions, 3rd behind MJ Emerson, and his 26.2 rating in coverage is the best in the NFL, ahead of only MJ Emerson. He's the only guy that Johnson's the only guy ahead of him. So he's been great. Their other corners, though, not as good. Kyler Gordon, their 2nd-round pick from a year ago, he's got a pick on the season, giving up 74% completions, 89 rating. And then Tyreek Stevenson, their nickel, a rookie out of Miami. That's who the Browns need to get after. He has an interception, 8 passes defense, but he's given up 70% and 117 in coverage, 8 touchdowns allowed. That's the most on the team. Their safeties are Eddie Jackson out of Alabama, the 2-time Pro Bowler, and then Jaquan Brisker, who was their 2nd-round pick out of Penn State. He's got an interception, 7 passes defensed this season. So they don't get to the quarterback. They only have 21 sacks. That's 31st in the NFL, but Montez Sweat is kind of changing that for them. They are the 29th ranked third down defense. They are the 32nd ranked red zone defense. So on the money situations defensively, that's where they have been very, very bad. Their turnover differential for the season, -1. That's tied for 18th. So not a great football team, but don't take them lightly. They've won 2 in a row. They just whooped the Detroit Lions, and they've won 3 out of their last 4 games.
I'm trying to think of a franchise that's been in the position that they're in. They have the number 1 pick. They will have the number 1 pick in the draft from Carolina. Carolina may win one more game. Very likely they won't win any. It's almost assured that they're going to pick number 1 overall. They have their own first-round pick as well. You mentioned Fields. I don't know if people – like if he's not hurt, his year looks pretty dang good this year based on where he's at. 90 quarterback rating, all of those things. He's obviously an enormous threat to run it. He did get banged up, but he was probably played one of his best games of the season last time out against Detroit. He was great. So they're in this position where they could get a king's ransom for trading out of number 1 overall.
Yes.
They could then take that. By the way, they're also picking, I want to say right now they're picked 7th. So like they could get one of the other receivers.
Right, they're going to
not Harrison, but they get Aduzier or the kid from LSU. They get one of those guys if they wanted to. And add weaponry to it, and then just get a bounty of picks and maybe even a starter like a dude from a franchise for that number 1 overall pick. Or they could punt on Fields, and as he's playing well, what you get for him improves. And you could then pick Caleb Williams number 1 overall and start fresh with a new regime and everything. So in terms of options, they're all good, and I don't recall a team having it quite like this. And it's only this way because of what Carolina did last year to get Bryce Young.
Yeah, they are a fascinating franchise right now.
They're trying to build a new stadium. Not sure exactly where, if it's going to be out in the suburbs. There's a plan I saw last week about trying to get something, there's a location near current Soldier Field where maybe they could do something downtown there, but I know that they bought all that land.
Right.
It's north, Arlington Heights, I believe. So there's a million ways they could go here.
Yeah, they're a fascinating team, and there's a lot at stake for them in terms of how things kind of
and they're not turn out.
No, they're not out of it, especially with that big win. 5-8. 5-8 is not out of it.
Not in the NFC.
No, it's out of it in the AFC for sure, but not in the NFC.
No, the minimum number in the AFC is 10. I mean, I feel very strongly about that. When you look at the schedules of the contending teams, whether it's Denver or Indy or us, Pittsburgh, that it's 10. It's going to be the minimum requirement.
Oh, yeah.
Over there, I think you could go 8.
Yeah.
you could get in the NFC. They've got the other thing about them is I know that if we were doing this game a month ago, you'd say, well, the Bears, that's a win dog. But the reality is they are terrifyingly dangerous because of Fields' legs and because of DJ Moore. They can hit you big at any point.
Well, that's where they've been at their most effective. DJ Moore has, I think, as many 30-yard touchdowns as Tyreek Hill this year, or is second to only Tyreek Hill. They've been very good throwing the ball vertically, and that's, the Browns have at times been susceptible to the big play.
Yeah.
And that's something certainly that you would need to clean up in this game. I think your best bet is to really try to make them matriculate the ball down the field. That's not what they are great at. And if you can do that, it feels like this is a Browns defense that should be able to be very successful against this team, because we should be able to get pressure on the quarterback. One of the other things that stands out about their offense is they give up a 44% pressure rate. That is the highest in the NFL. So 44% of their dropbacks have some type of pressure. That should enable us to harass Justin Fields. I mean, this should be a 3, 4, 5, 6 sack game for this football team,
depending on who's here on the defensive line.
Well, irregardless.
Tone with this from the practice report. We obviously know about Obo, Jordan Elliott not practicing today with concussion. Kareem Hunt, Ethan Posick, and Juan Thornhill also all out today as well. Coach will be at the podium. There will obviously be a lot to address. We will have that for you live coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, we're awaiting Coach at the podium. He'll have a lot to discuss. Grant Delpit officially going on IR, reporting out there from many of the great reporters. Jake Trotter, great friend of the program, with the first on Obo Okoronkwo, that his season could be over with a torn pectoral as well. We had Duan Jones earlier this week. Coach did address that on Monday. Maurice Hurst since then, though, as well. And it's to the point where it's how much can –
It's like enough.
How much?
It's enough.
How much can you take? I feel like you've crossed the Rubicon on that.
Yeah, it's enough. It's been enough. It's been enough for.
It's enough, you jerks.
Yeah, it's been enough for quite some
We
time.
relent.
Yeah,
You win.
you win. Enough
Fine.
injuries. Fine.
Whatever we did, we'll take it.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's you have, in terms of what you can overcome and still have success, I think you're there.
well, I think it's going to require us to kind of play the brand of football that we've wanted to play all season, but have been unable to do so, and that's clean football, as you write the word clean right there. Yes, clean football. That's the margin for error
it's really-
continues to diminish, and so if you're the Browns, that's a tough thing to deal with, right? Like, you have got to figure out a way to take care of the football, eliminate the self-inflicted wounds, because at some point you just don't have enough ammunition now in terms of talent to continue to overcome less than ideal play.
Oh no, Gibby, don't raise your hand. Not
Got
more.
Coach.
Coach Podium.
Oh, okay, very good. Here's Coach at the podium.
Is a big deal to us, so we're excited about that opportunity. NFC opponent with the Chicago Bears. Good football team. 3-1 in their last 4, 11 takeaways in their last 3. You just turn on the tape. This is a good football team. I think it's starting with their offense. Justin Fields is a challenge. He is so big and so strong, can make every throw. And DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, you name it, good players really all over that offense, and it's a huge challenge. Defensively, I think Coach Eberflus does a great job, having gone against him before. We have a lot of coaches that know Coach Flus well. He's really good. Puts his guys in positions to make plays, and they have playmakers. I think you really go to all 3 levels of the defense, and I think they have playmakers, good players. So huge challenge. Special teams, they do a great job. A couple different returners that we have to prepare for. So going to be a huge challenge for us down there, but our focus is on this work week, getting our work in today, making sure that we know what we're doing so we can go play fast on Sunday. With that, I'll take any questions.
So you touched on it a little bit, but with Justin Fields, the way that he can run the ball and pass, I guess as a dual threat quarterback, what challenges does that present for your defense?
Yeah, defensive coordinators don't like those quarterbacks that can run and pass. It's a challenge. I mean, every play he can affect. Their run game can go through him. Their pass game, he can make every throw, and if it's not there, he can pull it down, and he's a threat to make a lot of yards. So huge, huge challenge. We've gone against players like this before. It doesn't make it any easier. It's a challenge.
Can you address, you guys have had, since we saw you last, a number of injuries. The latest we just heard about was Ovo possibly missing the season with Jordan Peck, Grant out, Maurice. Just can you address
Yeah, I don't have final confirmation on Obo just yet. Obviously, it might be heading that way, but I'll hold out hope. Mo had surgery. Grant had surgery. I feel badly for those guys. They're a big part of who we are. They certainly have been a big part of our success to date. But we'll, next man up.
Delpit had surgery. Could he come back at some point if he made a
Potentially.
Kevin, you guys say next man up. When does law of diminishing returns, though, start creeping in?
I'm not familiar with that law. Not a lawyer. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Chris. I mean, for us, we play with who's available. We have a lot of good players. We have a lot of good backups that we call on, and we trust them. It's just how we operate.
Have you gone through a year like this, though? Not just the amount of injuries. Year 2.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Honestly, and I understand. I understand the question. Up on it. We don't. We just focus on the job that we have in front of us, and it's finding a way to get a victory versus a Chicago Bears team that's 3-1 in their last 4.
Starting to resemble the COVID year to you in that regard?
No, that was hopefully that was a 1 year. Listen, every single season has its own challenges. we're no different than a lot of teams. You're dealing with injuries. It's the NFL. It's December. It's what it is.
So you see out here the two young safeties that finished the game for you against the Jaguars?
Yeah, those guys have played for us and have gotten good reps with DeAnthony, with Ronnie. They've been out there, guys that we trust, athletic, smart. So we trust that a week of practice with them, if they're the guys and they're called upon, they'll be ready to go.
Kevin, you're usually pretty stoic on the sidelines. You got very excited after the 4th and 3, it looked like. What was it about that play and kind of that game that brought that emotion out of you in that particular moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's that play in particular was a big moment for our football team in that game. And to see the play that the quarterback made, drifting away from pressure, and then to see D-Bell obviously go in untouched. I mean, I feed off the emotion of our players. So that's an emotional play for our football team, and I think our coaches feed into that as well.
With Mo being done, first of all, how did you think Mo played for you guys? You felt like he had a pretty brief kind of read.
Yeah, Mo gave us some great reps. And, as good as the reps were on the field, he's a great person, was awesome for our locker room. We'll get him back in here ASAP so he can be around our football team. But really, really good veteran presence. I know he's not the oldest player, but he's been through a lot. He's been on different teams, so I just think great impact on our football team.
Is that a great opportunity for Siaki then to see the field for the first time?
Potentially, yes. Mm-hmm.
We talked to after Jed was hurt, you kind of expressed optimism that he might be back.
Yeah.
Just not.
Yeah, you got to always go with what the injuries are, and sometimes there's complications to it or whatever it may be. I don't know if there's complications, but, with more time, figured that surgery was the best option for him.
Does it make it rewarding for you that you have a team that has proven to be so resilient? We're talking about all the injuries, and in ways that they might derail other teams, they haven't derailed you all.
No, I mean, it's not. We're not in the place in the season to even think about that. We got to find a way to get a win this week.
If you appreciate the resilience.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and that's we talked about it before, Jake. Just you trust the leaders of the football team is really what it comes down to.
Well, Kevin, you're one of 9 teams that have the 8 or more wins. The other 8 have all used one quarter.
Mm-hmm.
What's your comment on that?
No comment.
Hey, Kevin, Miles was very critical of the officiating on Sunday. Do you think was it a day where it was abnormal that he was held and grabbed and whatever else?
Yeah, Miles gets a ton of attention. Breaking news in the Sports Center. The coordinators, when they're getting ready to game plan for him, I mean, the game plan is built around stopping him. So he gets a ton of attention via tight end chips, running back chips, slides to him. And he's a difficult guy to block. So there's always going to be plays that the offensive line is holding on for dear life, sometimes literally. So he fights through it. I know he was frustrated, but he's just got to keep, and he will keep playing and not let that get in the way of him playing really good football.
Oh, I know you appreciate his frustration. Do you worry that comments like that, though, could backfire on him and then it turns into even a worse
No,
situation?
I think he has respect for this game. He understands that. He's frustrated. It's something I talk to the officials about every week leading up to the game, is keeping an eye on the guys that are blocking him. So it really comes with being a great player. We want the other teams to play within the rules, obviously, but it hasn't slowed him down. I mean, he continues to play at a very high level.
Is it frustrating you, those, Coach, that the diplomatic channels of sending in the plays to the league office aren't helping in that regard?
Yeah, I've been around too long. I know this song and dance, so it is what it is.
You used the DTR twice. Effective?
Yeah, I mean, on those 2 plays, yes. For us, Tony, it's a game-to-game proposition about what you think is best for the team in that game. Last week it was a couple plays, could be 0, could be 30, for him and for any of our players. That's how we operate. We just want to make sure that whatever it takes for that given game, we're going to put in the game plan.
Kevin, Ethan, any worry that stinger might prevent him from playing on Sunday?
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, any injury, you want to make sure you see how he's doing throughout the week. I think he's doing better, but I think we'll know more later in the week.
How do the efforts of the guys that have gone out throughout the season, how do those efforts play into that next man up mentality that the guys that are replacing them?
Yeah, I think, Cam, it goes back to we've spent a lot of time together, this football team, and you go all the way back to the spring, and you put in the work, and I think ultimately you trust all of your players because they're putting in the work beside the starter. So it's not like the starters are the only players that are practicing in a given week, again, and going all the way back to training camp, if you will. I've seen all of our guys. I've seen them in action. I know what they're capable of. I know how hard they work, and that's where the confidence comes from.
I was saying that Joe, your long-lost brother, was a real calming influence on the sideline in the final couple minutes. How important is it to have just another guy over there that's been through it and can kind of calm things down a bit?
Yeah, I think, again, it speaks to Joe's, his expertise in this game. He's played a long time. He's seen a lot, and he's definitely willing to share what he's seen with his teammates. I think he does a great job in our meeting room with the quarterbacks. I think Dorian and PJ can learn a lot from the different things that he's seen. But anytime you've had turns at this, anytime you've played in these games, you've played in big games, I think that informs you and how you deal with the things that are coming at you, and they're coming at you fast now as well.
It's not easy walking in a locker room in the middle of the season, like Joe has done. Just what's it say about him that it just seems like, I mean, I realize his resume is what his resume is, but a guy that was out on the street waiting for a phone call is able to walk in and not only just, really earn the respect of everyone in the locker room right away, but perform at a high level. Yeah,
I think it's to your point, Darryl. Obviously, performing at a high level earns respect, but I just think the way you work earns respect. I've been around a lot of players, quarterbacks, running backs, whatever it is. The guys that work gain the respect of their teammates, and I think Joe just fits that mold.
Even though DTR is your top backup, would he simulate Justin Fields this week?
We'll see. He could.
Game ball for
see if we can get another one.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
4 extra tackles. Alex Leatherwood really hasn't been out there able to do much lately, right?
Was battling an injury previously in the last couple of weeks.
So he's
coming along. He's getting better. Yep.
What Jared showing you 5 starts for Jet?
It's hard to you forget that he wasn't with us before. So I'd say number one is just understanding our system, and I think that goes back to his time with Coach Callahan. So he's got a really good feel for what we do from a technique perspective, and then diving in and making sure he knows what to do play to play. I think he's had a lot of really good moments for us. There's a nuance to what we do, and he's done it really well. But another guy, Scott, that I would put in the category, he's come in, doesn't say much, does his job, and I think the guys respect that.
You guys have, offensive line is that place where cohesion is so important, yet you guys have rotated, I think, 5 different starting combinations. What is it about Bill and Scott and the way they teach that you guys are able to sort of rotate through guys, yet it doesn't seem like miss much up front?
Yeah, well, I think Coach Callahan, Coach Peters do a great job. Coach Callahan has a wealth of experience. I forget what the number of years he's been coaching. He told me back at training camp what number training camp it was for him. But I think you apply all those lessons learned. I don't know if he's had that many starting lineups before, but I'm sure he's had to juggle things over the course of time. So he just does a really nice job of getting all of the guys ready. And I think it speaks to that offensive line room in particular. And I mentioned this before, just as it relates to Dewan and some of our young guys. That's a great room to come up in with guys like Joel, with guys like Wyatt, Jack Conklin, obviously veterans in there, Nick Harris, a lot of pros, if you will. So they learn because that environment in that meeting room kind of demands it of you.
How many? You said he told you how many training camps?
Yeah, I can't remember what the number is. Yeah, but he's seen a lot.
Offensive line, it's obviously stretching thing. Does Dunn stay at guard, or does he take snaps at tackle?
Yeah, Michael's been able to play at a bunch of positions for us, so that's the name of the game for backup linemen is versatility.
What has Sweat added to that defense since he got there? What makes him so good?
Yeah, really good player. We've gone against him when he was in Washington. Big, long, athletic, physical, great effort. He's pressuring the quarterback. He's getting sacks. You notice him right away just how big he is, but he plays really, really hard. I got a ton of respect for him.
Good.
Okay, thanks, guys.
You're up. All right, there you go from Coach Stefanski at the podium, addressing several of the injuries that are quite honestly, stacking. No excuses from him. He can't be. There's no time for that. You got a game on Sunday, and his job is to prepare the team that he has.
Yeah, you got to keep moving forward.
Got to go forward.
We've done every single week. Think about the Wednesday morning before the Steelers game.
Oh, yeah.
Deshaun Watson's out for the year. Well, you got to keep going, and this team went out there and found a way to win, and that's what you got to do. You got to keep going. Hopefully you get good news in the fact that Denzel Ward could return to the lineup, which would be a big boost.
You need all of that.
You need the stars that are
the stars remaining
that are not on IR need to be playing and playing at a high level.
They got to go, and Flacco's going to have to play great because you're going to have to get manufacture some offense with this defense that, quite honestly, with all these injuries, there's no way it can be what it was at one point this season. Let Tide Cleaners take care of your laundry and dry cleaning needs this holiday season. Enjoy $10 off, $40 or more all season long with the code BROWNS10. Exclusions do apply on that. Visit locally owned and operated Tide Cleaners in greater Cleveland area and make the most of your holidays. We'll attempt to guess the spread coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, second hour here on a First Friday edition of the program. Laundry list of injuries. Got worse today with the official news on Delpit. If you're just joining us, done for the regular season, potentially could come back from the postseason. And then Coach would not confirm Obo done, but
Correct.
there is a report that he is done for the year as well. I think he did say something, I want to say I heard this right, that he trending that way.
He said he's holding out hope. They don't have final confirmation that is what it is.
That's what it is, but it feels like that. So that's where you stand on that. Let's have a little fun here on a First Friday with a little game we like to call Guess the Spread for Week 15.
Now, last week
we did all right.
So that puts us at 10 and 4.
Very well last week.
That puts us at 10 and 4.
We're cruising 10 and 4.
10 and 4.
The playoffs.
Yeah, we're in the playoffs.
We're in the postseason, man.
Come on. We're a number 1 seed right now.
Hey, how about you put the mic in front of you?
We're
there,
Baltimore.
board
We're Baltimore.
boy?
What was that, Gibbe?
Something, boy.
Board boy. Why don't you put
Board
the
boy.
mic in front of
Board
you?
boy.
Because it's a little difficult to control your levels.
There was a time when you guys were out on the West Coast where you guys were so connected.
Yesterday, he's on a phone call.
Okay.
On his landline. I haven't seen anybody do that since
He's on the landline.
the 90s. He's on the landline having this
It
conversation.
rang. That's where
and I'm
I
in
answered
here
it.
with Drew and Tequila Fila and Uno and Griffer in there, and we're all talking and laughing and having a good time.
It is a frat party going on.
Work bonding.
All of a sudden, so we're having a great time. All of a sudden, Gibbe, guys, I'm on the phone. Now, I knew that he had to be on the phone with a stranger that he held in some regard, because had he been on the phone with somebody that he was very comfortable with, that would have gone completely differently. I put it on the quote board. You see it? Guys,
Somehow the
I'm on the
interns
phone.
have added to the quote board.
It's amazing.
That's all he said. Guys,
I'm
on the phone.
I'm on the phone.
It was
And
like
as
my
soon
buddy
as I
Albie.
said it, I'm like,
Yo,
days.
hey, I'm on the phone. Yo.
That's old school.
It was a fatherly tone. I understand the moment I said it. I was like, oh boy, this
You're
is
going to hear the end of that for a while.
But it was with
Dignitaries?
I was on the phone
it
with
luminaries?
Amazon Prime and their executive producers about the game. And the
Nana's not pleased with your rudeness. I'm no board boy. I'm a board man.
That's right. That's right.
I'm going to go board boy.
All right. You
Ooh,
ready?
man.
You ready for this?
Dude. Of course
Born
I'm
ready.
ready.
Born
Been a
ready.
week.
Born
Looking
ready.
forward to failures.
All right, here we go. We're starting
I hope to stick this right in your face, Gibbe.
right in your craw, Gibby.
Yeah.
Thursday night football. It's a gem. Chargers at Raiders. I will tell you, I'm going to just say this for the kid right now, because this quarterback situation around the league's insane. So, I don't even know how you would make numbers on this. I don't know because what do you possibly think the Chargers are going to be capable of a quarterback?
Bill
You have no
Stick
clue.
is court starting, right?
Something like that. All right, there you go.
Raiders.
Chargers at Raiders.
This feels like Raiders are at home, so they're going to be -3.
Got it. By the way, they scored 0 last week.
It's because I made fun of you.
They lost
This
3-0
is how
last
this
week at
normally
home.
goes.
3-zip.
And they're favored.
And
This
they're
time they're
favored.
going to have to score.
They're going to have to.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
It's like the scene in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. You have to do a little more than that. No, that's too much.
Too much.
Well, no, that's not enough. Got to do a
That's
little
right.
more than that.
Vikings at Bengals on Saturday.
Saturday
This
triple
is
header.
a 1 o'clock kick on the NFL Network at 1 o'clock. Vikings at Bengals.
This feels a lot like, again, Bengals -3.
Got it exactly. Maybe they're reverting back to old desert. You know what I mean?
Just basic
go
numbers. I feel like it's
because
basic. It's basic.
You can't possibly have a clue how
Yeah.
any of these teams are going to be. Is that Nick Mullins for Minnesota?
Yes.
Yes, announced
And Jake
today.
Browning? If Browning wins again, he's
Okay,
been
so
great in
so
back-to-back
far we're
weeks.
Bob Stick and
Aiden
Aiden
O'Connell,
Nick Mullins,
and Jake Browning. Those are your 4 quarterbacks so far in the National Football League. It's about ready to get better. Pittsburgh at Indy, 4:30 on the NFL Network.
Minshew
is by far, well, Trubisky
Minshew
is
and
probably
Trubisky.
the most accomplished quarterback that
Also
you've
the wealthiest,
said
second
so far.
overall.
Yeah, that's right.
So Trubisky and Minshew.
Where is this one?
This one's in Indy.
In Indy.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Indy -3.
You get it. It's Indy -2.5. I think that's what they're doing.
How do you?
How could you do anything else?
Yeah.
Because you don't have any idea what's going to happen.
Some games, there will be a few that I think will be like.
Oh, here's one of those ones. So here's, I think, a real one. So this is Denver at Detroit. This is one of the few matchups this weekend where the quarterbacks are as intended when the season started. Detroit hosting Denver.
Basically, NFL Network moving their entire operation to the Midwest.
It's weird they didn't pick us, honestly. For Bears-Browns, I'm surprised they didn't.
This is, I feel like, Lions are going to be favored by more than 3. Lions -4.5.
Got it. Lions -4. Good job at
How you like me now, Gibby?
You're killing it. Sunday, a little Sunday for the kids.
Well, so far, I'm killing it. There's only one that I've actually had to do anything on. I'm 1 for 1, really.
Yeah, but I think you have the right.
Well, you got them all.
I don't want to give you. I don't want to give you a. You know, I think your thought on this, and as we started this, and mine were similar.
Yeah.
In that, how could you possibly? It's our game. Bears Browns.
Browns -3.
Yep.
I mean, I can.
I wonder if that'll change with all of the injury news this week. If that'll get
go
closer.
down. I'll be honest. I was surprised it was only 3.
They're dangerous, though.
They are dangerous,
and they're healthier
They've won
than we
2
are.
in a row.
3 out of 4, right?
3 out of 4. 2 in a row.
Buccaneers at Packers. CBS game, 1:00. Bucks at Packers.
Packers -3.5.
On it exactly. That's crazy.
That one I thought could be above 3, so that's why I get the
Because I talk trash. I just blame myself for this debacle.
That's what you get. That's what you get.
That's
Gibby.
what you get.
Don't
Sucks
ever.
today.
Griff, put Sad Gibby on.
Sad Gibby.
There he is.
Sad.
Look at him. Sad. Sad. Nasty.
Very sad.
So sad.
Sad. Nasty.
I needed
sad.
I needed something positive today.
I'm
It's a girl
on
failing.
the phone. Guys. I'm on the phone. Oh.
They get done taping their little thing, and it is a full-on party in here. Like, the only thing that's missing is Uno doing a keg stand in the studio.
He should have.
Uno bouncing around. Yeah. Griff holding his feet while he does a keg stand.
By the way, we have talk later. After that happened, guys were on the phone, so we all got scolded. So we all came in here and were like laughing and having a good belly laugh about, guys, I'm on the phone. Then I walked in while he was still on the phone and wrote it on the quote board. Guys, I'm on the phone. So we're having a great time. Then
I'm
I came in
literally trying to redo our entire clock for Thursday Night Football because we're like losing breaks and Amazon.
Because of Amazon.
We spent $1 billion, so we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. So then we were doing a little story time with Tequila Fila and Yellowstone, and Yellowstone dropped a fact on me that caused me to just walk out of the building and go home.
You left?
Without any more comment. I just heard it.
Can it be shared, or we'll do it in the break?
In the break.
Okay. Texans at Titans.
Texans at Titans.
I think
Texans.
Not that you need a lead, but I mean, like you're winning this week anyway. But to me, this looks like they think CJ's not playing.
Helpful.
Yeah.
Then Titans -3.
Nailed it.
Because I was going to go Houston -1.5.
Come on,
he would know if he was picking the lines. Like CJ's still in protocol.
Yeah.
So you should know that CJ's still in
Gibby,
protocol.
why aren't you rooting for a perfect week right now?
We've never had perfection.
We're 7 for 7.
You've crushed it to this point.
Don't worry. There's a few coming.
Here you go. Jets at Dolphins. Jets at Dolphins.
Dolphins -13.5.
Dolphins -8.5. Yeah.
There it goes. Now, that being said, is that because
you're right, 2 touchdowns of everybody?
Pretty big overreaction.
Because of Tyreek Hill? Is that
it? Could be.
What's wrong with Tyreek Hill?
He got nicked up in the game Monday.
Did you not?
But I don't know. I
only saw the end of the game when Raheem Mostert.
To me, it's an overreaction.
Mostert ran me my.
Now,
division.
I did not see. I don't know what. I didn't see the Jets against Houston, so I don't know if that was like. I know it was scoreless at half or whatever.
30 points in the second half.
Yeah, like what led to that? That part I don't know, but that's pretty wild. All right, Chiefs at Patriots.
Gross.
Chiefs at Patriots.
Chiefs -10.
Incorrect. Chiefs -9.
Oh,
close though. Are the Chiefs good enough offensively to be favored against anybody? So they'd have to score by 9.
Yeah.
So if they could win 20-10, and that would do it. But the Patriots are pretty good defensively. Did you guys see the Belichick news, by the way?
Yeah, called it
Tom
yesterday.
Curran?
That's why I was trying to be topical for Florio.
Yeah, Tom Curran is all over that. That this is it. Oh yeah, I forgot that part of the Florio interview.
Yeah. Well, how could you? I mean, you only remember one part.
By the way, our guy did every availability today.
Of course he did.
He did
He's everywhere.
all of it. He's everywhere.
Of course he is.
All
Hey,
about
man,
it.
make
Loves
the
it.
most of your
Loves
15 minutes, buddy.
Loves it. Giants at Saints. G-Men at New Orleans with said Tommy DeVito.
Like, somehow
Giants.
there's playoff implications for both these teams in this game.
Saints minus 2.5.
Saints minus 6.
What? Oh, God, 7-3.
Now we're in a losing
Write
streak.
a little note on that one. Falcons at Panthers. Falcons at Panthers.
Falcons minus 6.5.
Falcons minus 3.
Oh, God, now we're at 7-4. This is all of a sudden taking a very bad turn.
Very bad turn.
It's taking a bad turn.
Commies, we're now in the afternoon window. Commies at 4:05 on CBS.
I'd say 2 more wins.
Against the Ramets. Commies at Ramets.
Rams minus 4.5.
Rams minus 6.5. So just so I'm clear,
No, you're looking
there's
at the same thing I am.
only the Bucks and Packers. So far, we've only had 3 games where it's the quarterback matchup that was intended.
Yeah.
A total of 3 games.
Yeah.
Here's one where it's as it was intended. 49ers at Cardinals.
Niners minus 14.
Got it. Niners minus 13.5. They just keep them there. It's 13, 13.5, 14 every week. It's just churn it.
I need one more.
We're
We're at 8-5.
All right.
Need one more.
America's Game of the Week, Cowboys and Bills. Cowboys at Bills.
Cowboys minus 3.
Buffalo minus 2.
Oh, this makes me very
How about that?
Wow.
I don't know. They're my blind spot. I can't make sense of them.
They're winning that game then.
Feels like it.
Yeah. Sure does.
So, in other words, the Cowboys are going to show up and do cowboy things under Mike McCarthy.
It's just
Screw
they're
the pooch on this.
But there was one time when we did this. I want to say they were a big. I remember the game and they blew it. It was Jacksonville. I don't know what to make of Buffalo. I would never, ever screw around with them. Ravens at Jaguars on Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football.
Ravens minus 3.5.
Woo! Got it.
Got it?
Week.
Ravens
Winner.
minus 3.
Winner.
Minus 3 on that one.
Winner. Ha 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 ha.
Monday Night Football. Eagles at Seahawks.
There you go. Cough. Good.
Eagles
Karma.
at Seahawks.
Did you hear that?
Of course, my hard of hearing.
No. Unnecessary.
I've been coughing for 6 days. I'm going to blame it on you that I got sick.
I blame it on both of you in smallpox.
It's fine. Fair.
I blame it on you. I sat next to you on the flight home.
Sad.
You got sick before I did.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah.
How could anyone
You
know?
missed Wednesday.
You've been on stuff for a month.
You both have been very sick, and I've been clean as a whistle.
No, don't
Whistle.
you jinx this.
Dude, the amount of stuff I'm exposed to with these little animals.
Yeah. Petri dish.
Please.
Cesspools.
This is nothing.
All right. Seattle and who?
Griff like that.
Eagles at Seahawks.
Eagles minus 6.
Eagles minus 4.
Winner.
Good job, what do you do?
11
10
and
and was it
9 and 7.
9
All
and
I
7?
needed to be.
9 and 7.
7-0. Good
That's
thing I
it.
started
Keeps it
7-0.
cruising.
Start
Keeps it
hot.
cruising. Congratulations to our 2023 Browns Fan of the Year, Kathy Erb. Kathy, retired elementary school teacher, surprised with a tour of the facility. She met Joel Batonio and the Hoff.
And me.
And you.
Thank you.
And you. We're excited to send Kathy to the Super Bowl. She represents the Browns for a chance to be named the NFL's Ultimate Fan of the Year. Head to clevelandbrowns.com/fan of the year 2024 to learn more on that. Joe Flacco from the Podium coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. For a team of injury lawyers dedicated to every client every day, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. And now let's head to the podium and quarterback Joe Flacco.
Goes down.
I don't know if you were sore on Monday or what have you, but does it kind of help that you hadn't played in a long time in terms of being able then to make it through the drive here?
I'm sure at this point, like, that I ultimately feel a little bit more fresh than most guys do. When you've been through a whole long season, even though your body kind of gets used to the wear and tear, you're dealing with something. So at this point, to be able to come in healthy, even though I haven't dealt with getting hit and all that, you're always healthier and more fresh in the beginning, and that's kind of what this is for me. So,
Joe, you said the other day that after the game that the Browns didn't call right away. So what are you thinking, I guess, during that period where they don't call, and then when they do call, and then how the workout goes? Like, did you know right away you were coming here?
Well, obviously I didn't know I was going to be here, so like hindsight is a different thought process than like when it's in the moment. I don't think it was really no different Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday than I had been doing, because I hadn't gotten a call to that point and just hadn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, so now to look back and say, okay, I didn't come out here until Friday to work out and stuff like that, I don't know. It's tough to explain just the difference. I really wasn't thinking much of it, though.
Joe, almost every week here, before you arrived, the question was who's playing quarterback this week for various reasons. That's been established, I guess, now after the game. The coach named you the starter for the rest of your life. Does that change anything in your mind? Does it make it easier to prepare for the journey ahead?
No, I think in your mind you gotta take it week to week anyway, and act like you're the guy and focus on being the guy. So really, nothing else changes. We still want to go out there and have a good week's worth of work, and that's really what it all comes down to.
Joe, did you watch games on Sunday when you were waiting for the opportunity, or was it kind of weird to watch games?
It's always a little strange to watch games, but what else are you really doing on Sundays? You usually do a few things in the morning with kids. I watched a good bulk of the 1 o'clock games, and then after that, I tended not to watch as many of the 4, 4:30 or the night games.
What do you see when you look at this Bears defense, Joe?
Well, they've been creating turnovers recently, and I think they make you kind of go the long way, and just be patient.
Joe, Ryan, I think it was Ryan Clark said you tried out for a TV show. Like, was that something you really considered just being done and being an analyst, or how did that kind of play out?
I really don't want to have to ever do that stuff. 15 years ago, I would have told you no chance at all. These days, I think you at least entertain the option. But yeah, I know. I don't know if you guys know me at all, but that's the last thing I really want to do with my life. So.
But did you audition?
I went over. Listen, they had they were actually doing a thing at NFL Films, which I live 15 minutes from. So it was a good little way to go, kind of feel it out and see if it was something that you'd be interested in doing, could get better at, whatever it may be. It's definitely, listen. That's kind of what I mean. Like 15 years ago, it would have been just a hard no, but it still took some convincing for me to get over there. But at the end of the day, it was an experience that was probably worth having.
Joe, Miles said after the game, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to be one of them. If you're not already one of them. How important is that to hear from the captain of this football team?
Yeah, well, that's important. I think I've talked about it from day one, just becoming part of the team, and wanting to prove that you deserve to be a part of the team. So that's always important for a player.
What were you better at the second game?
What's that?
What were you better at the second time? Second game?
Oh man. Well, I think some of the things that I talked about, like in terms of being able to get out of the pocket when I needed to, and just not that it was a ton, but I still think there was some similarities that showed up in some of the other things. The thing I was disappointed in on a few plays were just my feet and the routes, and I threw a couple bad balls that I'm not used to throwing just because I don't feel like my feet were tied in with my eyes and all that stuff. So, more just conscious of still the improvements I need to make as opposed to what I improved on.
Joe, we've talked.
What are some of the quarterbacks that you may have heard from? I heard Peyton say something nice about you on TV the other day. Have you heard from some of the quarterbacks that were your peers, throughout your career? And if so, can you share anything that maybe somebody has said? I've
mostly heard the last few weeks of just guys that I've played with, coaches that I've been with, whether it's people from Baltimore, Delaware, New York. I think you make a lot of relationships with the people that you play with. And that's kind of always how I've been. Everybody always asks me, do you have a relationship with this guy or this guy or this guy? I mean, I'm kind of private as it is, and I have a lot of relationships with the guys that I've played with. But outside of that, I've never really gone out of my way to probably make a ton of those relationships. I don't want to be a bother. But I've mostly, like I said, heard from the people that I've played with and the coaches that I've had in the past and all that. And it's been fun, obviously.
Joe, we've talked about how fast this all happened. If we'd have told you 89 passes in the first 2 games, would you have thought that was coming?
Listen, I've been around long enough to know that you really can't, set some kind of expectation and expect that to actually come true. This is the NFL. You get into these games, and each game is its own thing, and you just have to do what's meant for you to, what's made for you, and during the game. Listen, when you're out there playing, you don't even realize how many times you're dropping back. It's just kind of part of what happens.
Joe, as you've gone with this team, how has your relationship with Kevin grown, just as you've acclimated to him as a coach?
Yeah, listen, I think he does a great job, and I think he deserves a lot of credit, obviously, with the amount of variables that he's been dealing with this year. And for me and him, it's just obviously the more he gets a feel for, what we're good at while I'm back there, and the more we can talk in the meeting rooms. Obviously, the more I play, the more easily conversations come up, so you get a better feel for each other that way.
Did you see that Miles called you Kevin Stefanski's long-lost brother?
Somebody was saying that last week. I mean, I'm a guy with a beard. I could shave it off and look completely different tomorrow, so I probably should. It's just playing into the fact that I'm an older quarterback. If I shaved this off, it would probably take 5 years off. But.
Joe, Wyatt Teller was saying that down the stretch the other day, you were kind of I think he called you a calming voice of reason in the final couple of minutes. How important is that role for you, just to kind of keep everybody on task and, in the moment as you talk about?
I don't think it's like actively what I'm trying to do out there at this point, but I hope that my personality and my playing style can definitely bring that along with it. And that's what a quarterback's job is. That's what a leader's job is. So I'm glad to hear that. And like I said, at this point in my career, it's not like I'm super conscious of it anymore, but definitely want to be that guy.
Joe, kind of off the Tom's question, just about you've been in a lot of big situations, big moments over your career. Now you're in the midst of a playoff push here. How much is that experience going to help you, and what can you impart on these guys, as they go, try to close this out?
It's always tough to quantify, like, the experience thing and how much it actually matters, because in the moment on Sunday, it comes down to what you're doing on that individual play. But I'm a big believer in that being in tough situations prepares you for the toughest of situations. And if you're a team that deals with a lot of adversity and plays these tight games, even though it's not exactly what you want all the time and it's not perfect, and it definitely prepares you for games that are going to have to be that way down the stretch. I think early in my career, every now and then we would beat up on a team and blow them out, and it wouldn't be a game in the fourth quarter. But I feel like the teams I was on back then played so many games where it came down to the last drive or the last 5 minutes of the game, and you just get used to treating them like normal situations and not overreacting in those situations. So I think the more that a team like this can deal with those, then the better off we'll be. And Sunday was kind of like that. It was that environment. Whatever you believe that should have happened in that game, or we should have done that to that team, it was what it was, and it came down to the last couple minutes of the game. And I think in the long run, it's one of those things that we can kind of draw from in the end and realize that we don't have to overreact and panic in those situations. We can just stay true to ourselves and go play the game.
Joe, just a couple more. Joe, I know you didn't play at all with Jed Wills. You only had the one game with DeWine, but how did you guys kind of react and deal with losing both starting tackles within 2 days?
It's just the next man up. You can't really think about it. I mean, we found out late last week, I guess, that DeWine wasn't going to be able to go, and it's a shame. I mean, you want your guys out there, but like I said, these are all. Everybody in here is our guy, and it's just next man up mentality, and that's what I talked about earlier. I think you have to give a lot of credit to Kevin just for dealing with those variables and being able to continue to go out there and have success.
Joe, how have you ever been part of a season where, like, you've just seen this mass amount of injuries? I mean, injuries are always going to happen, but you stepped into it. You weren't here for all of them, but just to have this sheer number, how do you keep spirits up and not let that be demoralized when you see more guys?
Yeah, I've probably been part of seasons where we've been injured like this. I don't know if anywhere we're still standing 8-5. So I think the fact that we've been able to go out there, these guys have been able to go out there and still put together a bunch of wins has definitely helped the mindset in terms of that. Obviously, if it was the other way, you wouldn't be feeling as good. But I think going out there and winning cures a lot.
Joe,
last one.
What is it like for you to be able to incorporate some of these younger guys and spread that ball around and have moments like David Bell's first career touchdown? What's it like for you to be a part of that?
It's a lot of fun after the fact. I mean, during the game, you're just trying to throw the ball to the right guy and find the open guy. But I don't know if you guys saw when he was running into the end zone, the big smile he had on his face. At the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. It's about going out there and having fun and competing and enjoying the process of it all. So definitely really cool to see that.
Joe, can I squeeze
all right,
one
thanks,
more?
Guys.
Joe, I'm sorry. I'm just curious. You're back out there. Any thoughts on how much longer you want to do this?
Not specifically. I don't know if I've ever. I think probably early on, people would ask me, "How long do you want to play?" And you probably say 15 years or something. But at this point, I don't really want to put a number on anything. I just want to go out there and play my best and then see where that goes. I think I've been in enough situations now to realize that it may or may not be up to me. So you just got to go out there and play and don't take anything for granted.
All right, there you go. There's your starting quarterback, Joe Flacco. Be sure to check out the Browns' social media channels daily to play the Browns digital scratch-off game for your chance to win club seats and other great prizes. Presented by the Ohio Lottery, the official lottery of your Cleveland Browns. A little higher or lower, better or worse, coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans get into Cleveland Browns stadiums quicker on game day with Express Access presented by Verizon. Enroll for free today to enter through exclusive lanes at each gate. Go to the Tickets tab in the Browns mobile app to learn more. Before we get to a little higher, lower, better worth real quickly, you see we're headed to Brazil? Did you see this? That we are headed to Brazil. The Cleveland Browns are headed to Brazil?
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. I just wanted to see your reaction.
No.
Sao Paulo.
I actually have the story up from the owners' meetings that I wanted to go over
Go ahead,
with
give
you
it
all,
to us.
but-
Go, give it to us. I just wanted to see if I could get you guys again.
No. I'm already.
I mean, if you guys are going to go play at Sao Paulo, let's say you're going to play in October, you'd probably want to get down there by October 15th to get used to it. Give
That
yourself
is
2
one
months to
where
get
we
used
should
to
be
it.
there for a while.
Be there for at least a week.
Yes.
What goes wrong there?
What goes wrong in Sao Paulo?
What goes wrong in Sao Paulo?
Not Rio.
Yeah,
No,
not Rio.
Rio would be.
Rio,
I'd
you're
love to
living.
go to Rio.
Little Copacabana Beach.
Yeah.
Come on, nobody gets hurt
At
there.
the Copa.
Yeah.
Nope.
Copacabana.
That is right up
Then
your
we're
alley.
going to Sao Paulo.
Yeah, it is.
Same. Go ahead with the details, Gibby.
The NFL did announce today it will play a regular season game in Sao Paulo, Brazil in 2024. So your
Maybe we are going there then.
foreign soil games, London, Germany, Brazil candidates for 2024.
I want Brazil. I no interest in going back to London. Zero.
I'd be into
I'd go to
Germany.
Germany, I
Let's
would like.
go.
Be into the Germans.
Yeah, Germany would be great. This would be electric.
I have no point of reference on what it would be like. I've never been to South America. It's a hole in the resume. I mean, I'm far more familiar just through pop culture with Rio than I am Sao Paulo. I have no clue what you're getting into there. You're not beachfront.
I just think it's going to be great.
I'm a little surprised it's not Rio.
So the NFL also announced today it will increase international games from 4 up to 8 beginning in 2025. In other words, every 4 years you're going overseas, kids.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry, Gibby, don't you think that means that like every other year? You said 8 games? I'm not a mathematician, but 8 games would be
You're right.
16 teams, and there are only 32 teams in the league. Now, you'd get some double up on the Jag, so it wouldn't be quite 16, but you're going to be on average for sure once every 3 years playing international.
Ugh. That's a lot.
It's a mammoth.
The Super Bowls for the next few
Big
years.
city.
2024 in Vegas,
Big.
2025
Big
going
city.
back to New Orleans in the Superdome.
Yeah.
2026
Huge.
Levi Stadium in San Jose, Santa Clara.
At what point will they have to redo the Superdome? Like you guys, that thing's
Great
been around
question.
since the 70s.
Yes,
It
and it
went
still
through
has the
Katrina,
70s technology
for
inside
sure.
it.
I mean, it's a
New Orleans
monster.
is just a great town for a Super Bowl.
It is, and the problem is there's nobody who's going to build a stadium down there.
No.
Unless the Bensons do it out of their own pocket, which can't imagine they'd be thrilled about doing. But like, it's a city that needs to have a dome,
Definitely.
a modern dome. Like they need a modern dome there.
Yeah.
I never hear anything about them trying to do anything with a new stadium down there.
Superdome's fine.
It's
on the inside, it's fine.
old.
I know, but it's fine. They obviously had to refurb it and redo it
Well,
after Katrina.
Yeah.
2027 back to SoFi. So
What years in the Bay Area?
It's all West Coast except for New Orleans.
yeah,
Right? 'Cause you
24
said
in Vegas,
Vegas,
25
New Orleans.
in New Orleans, 26
Same
at
as
Levi's Stadium.
That'd be a
and
great one for Browns Niners. Really test my father.
No, that would be no test. He would fail it.
Well, we know that.
He'd fail it as far as your loyalties are concerned, and
Absolutely.
it being his only offspring.
Yeah.
Failure in terms of his own wishes and wants.
Yeah.
Success.
I could see Pedro in the parking lot doing similar to
He'd be tailgating.
like throwing a tailgate similar to the Giants quarterback
Yes,
family,
for sure.
but for 49er fans
There's no
against
question.
us.
There's no question.
There is no chance. And The Rock means no chance that he's throwing a tailgate and cooking 300 cutlets for strangers. Are you out of your mind?
No, but
Well,
tailgating in the lot.
But like
He will go be.
Here's what he would do.
He'll
He
be
would go
the guest
celebrate
at every
the
tailgate.
49ers.
he would be the guest
Yes.
every tailgate, or he
Yeah.
would take like the wine, like let's say you did an Advent wine calendar for him, a bottle of wine. He would save that up, your gift to him, and then pass that out to
Scholarship.
Yeah.
others. He's not coming out of his own. So that's how that would operate.
No, he's going to go be and
he's going to be the guest.
The guest.
He'd want to be the hero. Hero's welcome. And,
Yeah.
Oh, it's Pedro.
Pedro.
Hey, Nate's dad.
See, he has a chance of doing that if he went to that game and that tailgate in Browns
He would
gear.
do that.
He'd have a chance to go get the food.
And then I think it would be a heel turn. You would get the unveil.
I think
at
you
each
could get
tailgate,
that.
you'd get
That
the
feels
unveil.
more like it. He's going to go around Browns, palling around, eating food. Oh, sure, I'll have your food, your drink. Yeah,
Dad's
go Browns. And then
son's
as soon as
one of the voices.
as soon as he
And
walks
then-
in the stadium.
Yeah. Probably
Oh
on
my
your
God.
tickets.
Oh, my.
Oh,
no.
yes.
That would have to be
100%.
There would have to be a lie
On your
detector
tickets.
test that he would have to pass as to his allegiance for that game.
That's how that would go.
Yes.
There's no question. That's wild, though. So 3 out of 4, all West Coast.
Well, yeah, because
so the normal East Coast stadiums that normally used to be Miami, Atlanta. Good God, is he okay?
Griff just had an exorcism in here.
Miami and Atlanta.
Doesn't sound good.
And New Orleans are the 3. You had Indy. They did in the north. They did New York in the north. They did Detroit in the north. They haven't gone back to any of them.
Correct.
And Indy did a great job.
Not Atlanta. Not.
That's what I said. Atlanta, Miami, and New Orleans are the only 3. Tampa Bay. I guess they do Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
They do that from time to time.
They did Jacksonville once or twice.
Once.
and-
I was there. It was a disaster. That city was not equipped.
Oh.
It was
and
not
you're not
equipped.
going back to the desert anytime soon.
No, that's it. So you're going to West Coast it up, baby.
Also from Courtney Cronin, DJ Moore, DNP today during Wednesday's practice. Again, it's Wednesday's practice. Did have an ankle injury. He told us post-game he twisted his ankle, but was good enough to go back into the game afterwards. So something to monitor there.
What do you think? This is a pretty involved higher-lower you have here. Like, I feel like this could take some time.
So
I'm just
here's the
reading
deal.
this last line here. You have a top 10 power poll through 15 weeks. Like, do we have time for that?
No, not really. Not anymore.
Let's do it. We'll go back and forth.
You want to do your top 10?
Yeah.
So we're presented by Keep It Fun Ohio from the Ohio Lottery, who reminds you to know the risks before you gamble. So on most of these power polls this week, NFL.com, SI.com, CBSSports.com, they have us at number 8. Of course, Prisco had us at 17 last week, and now we're up 9 spots to number 8.
I do appreciate his heel
PFT has us at 9. That would be Florio, and then The Athletic has us at number 12. So, I just figured we would put together a quick top 10 power ranking given everything that's gone on and the quarterbacks that are no longer available in the National Football League.
All right. You want to go 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
10 to 1.
10 to 1?
I think so, don't you?
Well, it's easier to do it the other way.
I don't like to do
Detroit.
things. All right,
I'm
we'll
gonna
go
take a
1 to
look at
10.
Detroit Jacks.
All right, go number 1. Who's number 1?
San Francisco,
I
clearly.
was assume we already know.
All right, I'm almost done here. I think I've got my 10.
I got
All
10.
right, here you go. All right, I go 10 to 1.
All right, 10.
Buffalo.
Detroit.
9.
Jacksonville.
Same.
Wow. Okay.
8.
Browns.
Detroit.
7.
Cleveland.
Kansas City.
You like Buffalo a lot. Yeah, they have lost 3 out of 4. Or do you not have them in the top 10?
Buffalo?
Yeah.
They just beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, but they've lost 3 out of 4 up until that.
Yeah, they're going to turn it around. No one
All right.
circles the wagons.
I don't want to play them.
Nobody wants to play them.
Okay.
But,
6.
Kansas City.
Buffalo.
Okay.
How can you have Kansas City and Buffalo? Buffalo just beat them.
I still trust Kansas City more.
Okay.
5.
Well, we have the
Kadarius
same.
Toney just knows
we
how to
have the
line
same
up on
5.
sides.
We have the same
We're good to
5.
go.
We have the same 5. It's just a
We're
matter
going to have
of
the same
order.
10. Yep.
We are going to have the same 10, yeah.
5. Miami. 4.
Baltimore.
3.
Philly.
2.
Dallas.
1.
Niners.
The next level is next.
Oh, what you people want from us?
We're going to have enough time. We're going to have enough time. And in 2.5 minutes.
Did it. So he left. He left the show.
Who's
He's
number
gone.
11? Smart guys.
I mean, it'd probably be Cincinnati. Cincinnati, Houston, Indy, Denver. I'll be real honest with you.
I would put Denver maybe at number 11.
You could take
The Rams.
Maybe.
Kind of like the Rams, right?
I like them too. If you took, I think you can take 1, and then there's a gap to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yep.
But I think anybody, Dallas and Philly are just so much healthier than us, and Baltimore is so much healthier than us. I guess they could have their own category.
Yes.
But then Miami, Kansas City, Buffalo kind of feel like their own category to me.
Yep.
And then our injuries just
and
make
then
it
us, Jags,
tough.
Detroit.
Us, Jags, and Detroit are tough. We're so battered. Like, it's hard to imagine it's sustainable.
Let's go, though. Come on. Let's do it. Let it be sustainable. Let's go.
Yeah.
No time for crying.
I'm not. I'm totally fine with it. So we were 8 in NFL.com, SI, and CBS. We are 9 in PFT, 12 in The Athletic is where we stand.
Just get me in the postseason, baby.
Well, and this kind of proves that point out when you look at the AFC. I mean, we have Baltimore 4.
Yeah, by the way, good by us. Great job by us right there.
Crushed it, dude.
Am I back?
You never left. No, Detroit I don't trust at all. There's something weird going on there.
I still don't know if I wouldn't put Philly ahead of Dallas. I get that Dallas just smoked them.
They smoked.
But it's Mike McCarthy, and
There's
it's
been-
Dallas, and come postseason time, no one
but that's-
screws it up better than they do.
That's the different conversation. That's like what I did. I played your game with Kansas City against Buffalo. Like, if these two – so there's two things you can do. You can say, who is the best, most deserving team right now? So this is a college football conversation, so it's definitely my wheelhouse. Or you could say, the vast Gibby estate on the line, who would you bet on in a one-off? And that's how I always come back to Mahomes in the postseason. Because until somebody beats them, like, do I think that they can go to Baltimore and win? Yeah. Of course I do. Do I think they go to Miami and win? Yeah, for sure.
do.
So I don't know if they have the
Do
firepower
you know that he's
to beat.
never played a road playoff game?
Yeah.
I guess so.
How crazy is that?
Because Cincinnati got him there.
Every year.
Yeah.
New England beat him there in the championship. He's never played a road playoff game, period. The end. Full stop.
It's quite a great deal of success. He's going to play one this year.
All home or Super Bowl. Yeah, he is going to play one this year.
Yeah. Going to have to do that.
Bom, bom, bom.
All right, so much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Join Ken and Gerard, Cleveland Browns preview show tonight, 7 to 8. University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Cedric Tillman and The Voice. Jim Donovan going to join them tonight on the program.
Oh, baby, The Voice was in.
He was so zest. He was a zest 50.
Oh, my goodness. You know when in the great classic A Christmas Story?
Yeah.
When he goes and he gets the wheel and he's the guy coming over, the little orphan Annie's talking to him, which ultimately ends up sadly being Drink More Ovaltine. But he's like, Pierre, I think his name was Pierre. He's like, Pierre's really hot tonight. Like, he's really into it. It must be a big message. Well, no, just drink more Ovaltine. No, but Jim's got a great zest right now, a verve, what the French call an I don't know what, and I love it.
You and I did that, I think, the first year we did the show, and we did like a 10-minute bit on je ne sais quoi and how there is nothing else that can follow that sentence. There's nothing else that works.
Yeah.
That's it. It's that phrase.
Je ne sais quoi.
That's the only thing that works
That's
in
right.
that sense. That's the simpler times back in the World's Team era.
God, dude, that's all we did was win.
That's all we did was win.
But actually, all we do is win now.
Winning more now.
More winning.
Just beleaguered winning.
Just battered.
Just battered. Battering ram. All right, got a game.
But we triumph. Anyway.
We will. Let's see if we can get to 9 wins against Chicago this week down on the lake. The next level is next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.